So I'm gonna unmute again on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Welcome to another episode of Divorce Mindset Live. I am super excited. I'm super full of energy. So it's just really great to be here with you today. I'm your host, Camilla Calberg. I'm the founder of Calberg Coaching, and I'm your divorce coach. This episode is brought to you by Calberg Coaching, where we help people like you, executives and high salary earners, thrive before, during, and after divorce. If you haven't yet, and excuse me, if you haven't yet booked your discovery conversation, your divorce consultation, go and book now. I have some open seats in my calendar and I am ready to support you on your journey. And with that, I do have some later coaching intensive sessions. So if you are in the moment where you struggle with something and you want some actionable tools and strategies, my laser coaching intensive is just for you. All right. So, with that announcement, let's dive into today's topic. And I am so happy and honored to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm just phrasing that. A dysfunctional family environment and how it affects children. If you followed me for a while, you know that children is very close to my heart, and often, and that is really how it is. Children become the innocent victims when their parents cannot behave. It is as short as that. And I want to dedicate this period, not a period, this episode of today's of divorce mindset today to talk about dysfunctional family environment and the signs. I'm going to give you 3 signs that helps you indicate or helps you assess whether your family is a dysfunctional family and whether you should do something else. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is 3 signs, and there are a lot more signs I'm going to talk about, but those are 3 signs that I also teach my clients in to spot. So if you want to get me on your team and to help me identify whether the environment you are in right now, the family that you live in and you create for your children, whether it's dysfunctional or not, I'm happy to support, and let's talk. All right. So I'm just going back to my notes. So the reason why a family environment or a family is dysfunctional is because the two of you, your partner and yourself, you fight. The parents fight. There's constantly criticism. You constantly criticize each other. That is indirect verbal abuse. That is verbal abuse. But when the kids listen to such statements, they take them actually on themselves. It hurts them so much that the parents do not know how to behave. Um, we also have the signs where it says, dysfunctional family is also where you are as a top performer, but you are so into your work that you forget your children. You neglect your children. And for me, unfortunately, it breaks my heart when I hear that the children that they have is suddenly just a pair of shoes, that they treat them like another pair of shoes. They it's really cold love family. And I hear children say, and I ask, and I hear what children report to me, what they miss from the parents, and also how, in a separate conversation, how the parents, how they engage or interact, how they show up when the kids, the parents, you may know that I'm on Instagram, so I can't take my mobile. Let's say my mouse is my mobile. Well, they sit and scroll. They sit and scroll the internet. They sit and read emails in the morning. Facebook, Twitter, they're not even present. That is a very dysfunctional family environment, and it hurts your children. Another symptom of a dysfunctional family is that you chronically argue. You just argue for the sake of arguing. And the root cause is something deeper, right? But you argue, argue, argue. And do you know what happens to your children? You just say, that you're gold. gets so sad and trembles inside. They are so concerned because the parents are the people that the most important in the child's life is you, the mom, and the dad. And if you are not in balance, just imagine what road of success you set your kids up to. It's so important. And that's why I decided to dedicate this episode to talk about wellness from the eyes of the children and the mental effects it has when children live and grow up in a dysfunctional family. Um, Also, because the family and the high earners, there's a lot of expectations. Um, and it's just there's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of unrealistic expectations, and again that hurts the children. They get vulnerable, they want to do the best for their mom and the dad, you probably know that, and they say, but I don't know how to do. I have a friend who works with children, and they break out in tears in school because they don't dare to show their marks, they don't dare to tell the dad or the mom that they don't like it because they're afraid of being punished. That is a dysfunctional family environment. And welcome to you who just tuned in now. My name is Camilla. I'm Calberg. I'm your divorce host, divorce coach, and I'm talking today about dysfunctional family environments and how it affects children's wellness. And the reason why I do that as we as adults and as parents, we are unaware that if we continue to argue with our partner, criticize each other, criticize the children, we set the children up for a very challenging life path. We're not setting them up for success. And the reason why I bring this is that if you constantly fight at home, you have verbally fights, you criticize each other. That's what you can do. You criticize, and criticize for the sake of criticizing. There's verbal punishment. You call each other names. And that's also when you go into the psychological phase of it, we call this verbal abuse. It's verbal abuse. If you experience being verbally abused, or that verbal abuse also affects your children. And what if you haven't worked with a coach or therapist, you have no idea how that verbal punishment affects the life of your children. I've been there myself, and that's why I'm such a strong advocate in creating awareness on this matter. The thing is that we know that is our environment at home, right? We get used to this dysfunctional family because that's how it's been for years. I've been in this for 10 years, and that's how it was. And in the process, we see children suffer. Children, first of all, there's something very important I want to share with you. The emotional window is open from 0 when they are born to 3 years old. That is the emotional window. And the emotional window determines how good you will be in your social, lost the word, but interactions, how good are you engaging with new friends and people, your cognitive skills, and whether you just a fight or flight, or you're embracing, see things from different perspectives. That is your emotional window, and the emotional window closes at the age of 3. So just imagine, and my daughter was a victim of like a disruptive emotional window, that from a very early age. And I remember when she was just, I think it was 13 months old, and you could sit in the living room, she bypassed her dad. So if the dad sat here, and now it's like that, and I sat here, she would take a big route around her dad to get to me. She was so afraid, and we had a lot of fights at home. And that's what I knew best. But I couldn't put him kind of behave. That we continued in that for years. But the emotional window is only open till 3 years old. So that is where that if you live in a dysfunctional environment and your kids is grown up in with the where you fight, where you criticize each other, then you don't set your children up for success. You don't set your children up for success. And so because you don't know that, I didn't know that until I worked with coaches, with psychologists, both a children's psychologist and adult psychologist. I didn't know that, but I got to know that, and I was starting to get very curious about this because suddenly I was in this environment. What the heck was going on? And until you start working on yourself, it's personal growth. You have to change. You have to change. You have to become a different person. Then what happens is that because your children don't know how to tell mommy, dad, I'm sad, I'm worried, I'm anxious, you don't give me the love, you don't give me attention, you fight all the time, because the children can't express what they do, is that they go to school and they fight, or they are easy at hot tempers, are easy at, I can feel my body, it's like they cry a lot, like my daughter, and I said it a few times, it's like she, at the age of 4, she started banging her head in the wall. When she got so angry, she would take up the furniture and she would throw them, and we just sat there and say, hey, what's going on? At that point in time, my penny hadn't dropped. My penny hadn't dropped. That's why I go live and share this important message with you. Dysfunctional family affects your children and the well-being and the mental well-being of your children, or any children, if your sister's children, whatever. And that's why we get to take accountability here. So in ending this, because this for me is a very, very important conversation. It's a very, very important topic to take seriously. And I am the journey to create more awareness about this. And we can, if we love our children, we can do something differently. We always have the choice. And I'm gonna share I do meditation every morning, and I listen to meditation. And there was a very key message for me. And the message for me was, you are not the sum of your circumstances, but of your choices. You are not the sum of your circumstances, but of your choices. And what this means is that don't blame anyone that is the reason why you argue. That's the reason why you do some verbal punishment, where you set up unrealistic expectations, right? It's you. You get to work on yourself, and that is your choice. It's always your choice. And I've been there, right? So don't take accountability. And if you don't know what to do, book a later coaching session with me. It's only 2 hours, but in those 2 hours, we get real life strategies and tools. We identify together tools and strategies, your blueprints, so you can do what you need to do best. You get the choice to live the life that you want. And you get the choice, it's very important for me, this, to create a life that sets your children up for success. Just imagine if we don't take accountability. Then when we get older and we got up in the elderly home or whatever, we have a bunch of young adults who don't behave. And why is that? It's because we didn't take accountability. Unfortunately, it's as simple as that. And we get the choice to work on ourselves and do something much bigger and much more important, is to actually set our children up for success. Woo! This is very, very important for me. I've seen the consequences of a dysfunctional family environment. I also know that you have a choice to get out of that and create something that is much bigger and better and more abundant. And that's what I did. And so I literally shifted my daughter from being very aggressive to a high-flying and blossoming girl. It's amazing, and it took me 6 months. Psychology said, Camilla, it takes you 10 years. and just they I got a lot of frightening pictures in my mind that she would be a drug abuser when she was 14 because of the environment that she grew up. Well, you never know the destiny, but I certainly was on my toes to change her destiny, and I changed it in 6 months. So if I can do it, you can too. The only thing it takes is that you get out of your comfort zone. You work on yourself. You cannot create anything stable if you stay in your comfort zone. That's how it is. No change comes from just where you are. So if you want to get in touch with me, either send me a note here. And I guess it's a very sensitive topic. I didn't go live when I was in the middle of it. And I have so much respect that you don't either. You don't want to engage with your colleagues or friends on the internet or LinkedIn, wherever you are, right? So send me a note at Camilla at calbergcoaching.com, and I will pick it up with my honor from the deepest place of my heart, because setting you up for success is so important. So with this, that wraps up today's episode on mental awareness, where we focus on the children. And I would say thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. It's so important for me to create awareness, and I'm so honored. And my love flows to you is that we are connecting and the questions that I get. And so if you found any value in what I shared, take a moment, drop me a comment. I'd love to hear what resonated with you, and how I probably or possibly could help you find inner peace and wherever you are on your divorce journey. Also, if you found this interesting, take a screenshot and share this episode with your loved ones and friends to help them find inner peace and thrive through major life transitions like divorce. And remember, happiness is real. It is real, even though we are may I use the word like we're this it's really shit right now. It's really tough. It's really hard. I've been there. I know it. I also know happiness is real when you learned to find inner peace, when you have the tools. There was some high executive who asked me the other day, Camilla, this is all academic. No, it's not. It's about personal growth. I'm going to share what happened to me yesterday. But it's really a demonstration that this is about personal growth. And you can choose in the moment when you want to tap into happiness or whether you want to entertain thoughts that trains you. It's it's as simple as that, but it requires like when you go to a course, it requires that you know what to do and that you rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, and you have a teacher like me, for example, who helped you get on the right path. It's as simple as that. So I want to say it is my honor to be on your journey, to support you and to support you through the process. And I'm so glad to inspire those who reach out, because if I can go through, I use the word again, a very shitty and challenging divorce process, and I thrived just actually uh, on all phases before, during, and after the co-parenting. If I can do it, you can too. It's so important for me to say. So this wraps up today's episode of Divorce Mindset Live. If you have any questions, reach out to me, and remember to tune in daily for inspiration and practical tools to help you create a better and more abundant life and set your children up for success. Your children is also my goal, is the goal for the world. So remember that. And with this, my love and appreciation and gratitude flows your way, and I wish you a beautiful and peaceful day onwards.